Two films are going to be screened in Cape Town to mark the 30th anniversary of Mandela's release. They're produced by Anand Singh, the well-known filmmaker who was also the man behind the movie Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. Let me take you live to Cape Town. Anand Singh, good evening to you and welcome. You know, one of the things that we all remember is where we were on that day. I have a vivid recollection of being in a radio studio, reveling in the reporting and the excitement. Where were you?
We were actually in the KZN Midlands with no television. We had to go and find a house with a TV set to watch it, and then that didn't work too well, and we said, okay, we got to leave now. Let's just go home and watch it from home. So, you know, very vivid memories because it all happened so quickly.
It happened quickly, yet we were all acutely aware at the time, were we not, that on that day a seismic change was happening to the country and to all of us individually.
Well, I think the impact was not only in our country but around the world because, you know, it was covered by the world news and, you know, everybody came from all over the world, tried to get here, jostling for positions on cameras and all of that. But, you know, it was such a historical day for us because, as you said, it's the shift of our oppression to the first step to freedom.
You make the point as well that at that time and beyond for the next couple of years, he provided leadership that the country needed that led us to a peaceful transition from apartheid to freedom. You were close to him, Anand Singh. What was that leadership style? Are you able to encapsulate it for us?
Well, you know, I mean, I think what was fascinating was the multitude of leadership styles that prevailed in Madiba's mind. I think, you know, the respect, the dignity and the humility that we all know, but then the other side of it is when he has to make a decision, he would take counsel from everybody and in some instances to make the decision almost unilaterally and argue it out until he can make his point and get people to agree to it in the caucus. So I really think that that was a very special quality, and I think those 27 years in prison with Walter Sisulu, with Kathrada, was very much a collective space. They all bonded with each other, they were friends, you know, family, they were all they had. And I think that led to those great monumental people that came out of Robben Island, Pollsmoor, and of course Madiba from Victor Verster.
I'm reflecting on three words that you've just used in terms of that leadership style: respect, dignity and humility. I wonder if somewhere over the past 30 years all of that has been lost somewhere.
Well, I think, you know, yes, you do lose it along the way, and I think there were several discussions today, starting at Victor Verster, where he left prison, and then at City Hall in a debate about that legacy and the loss of those 30 years of what he had helped achieve. But I do feel that we are still entrenched in that ability as a nation and as people who are living with the spirit of Ubuntu that we grew up with. And I think that will always be in our hearts. And I think we have to reach deeper and do more and be as little or as much as we can to be like Madiba as we can. And I think, you know, the one thing that comes to mind, I met him for the first time 2 weeks after his release date, coming on 30 years ago. And we spent about an hour together, and I had been writing to him to make a film about his life while he was in prison. And that humility and the disarming of, you know, the conversation and his level of interest in what I thought of things was fascinating. But the most important thing he said was, well, I want you to make the movie about me, but show me for my weaknesses more than my strengths. And I think that to me, was the testament of the man in that first meeting, which was so remarkable.
Just a final question. We're reflecting on the release of an icon 30 years ago, but maybe, Anand Singh, you could also reflect right now on the death of a musical icon today. Joseph Shabalala, Ladysmith Black Mambazo. If I'm not mistaken, you worked with him, not on the Long Walk to Freedom movie, but it was another movie you worked with him on.
Yes, Joseph was a special talent. We grew up almost around the same area in Durban. He grew up in the hostels with the Ladysmith at the end of Grey Street, and I used to hang out in the movie theaters around there. And this remarkable talent of what he created with the Siskatamia and how he brought that to the world. Of course, we hear about the Paul Simon legacy. I used his song, or Ladysmith's song, Amazing Grace, in these very poignant moments of Cry the Beloved Country. But we were friends because in those early days, he was being taken advantage of by the record companies, and I helped guide him through some of those processes. And he was an exceptional talent, and I think while we celebrate the life of Joseph and Ladysmith and his vision to allow for the new, younger generations of Shabalalas and the new Ladysmith Black Mambazo, who are all young people, and they are so talented also, we should celebrate the legacy and the difficulties that he had to go through to become who he became, and guided that whole group. So it's a terrible loss to our nation, but I think it demonstrates again the unique creative talents that we have, whether it's Joseph and Ladysmith or in the Ndlovu Youth Choir, so many talents in rural areas that we need to embrace and support.
Well, for those powerful words on two very powerful individuals, well-known film producer Anand Singh in Cape Town, thank you very much.